159 villages belong to an elite club of those deemed the most beautiful in France. This is Usson, in the heart of the hilly Auvergne region.
The problem with Usson is that all the roads are steep.
Clinging to a volcanic peak 600 meters above sea level, the village was a mighty fortress back in the 16th century.
This village is gorgeous. It's really well preserved. There are lovely stones and walls. It's not been altered by any new builds. That's why it's so charming. It's all built from this beautiful local stone.
Until recently, Usson was lacking in facilities. That was until two locals reopened the village's only hostel.
We feel at home here. We've built our lives in this village. We got married and raised our children here. Everything's here in the village, and that's been really important for me.
I'm lucky enough to have a view over the Puy volcanic chain. It's stunning. When I met my wife Sophie, I came to visit Usson, and I fell in love with the village straight away. Back then we weren't really ready to settle down, we were just 27, but we didn't want to miss the opportunity, and so we moved here. It's been 17 years now, and we have no regrets.
At the top of the village, the Romanesque church stands in what was once the castle enclosure.
These stone benches are called cactoirs. The women of Usson used to come here to catch up and have a natter. That's why these benches are known as conversational seats.
Usson is famous for its rock. Black in colour, it comes from the very depths of the earth.
We are in the heart of the volcano. The magma came up through the chimney of the volcano. The molten rock fell and solidified very quickly and made these basaltic organ formations.
It's a spectacular cliff which makes Usson one of the must-see attractions on the Auvergne Volcano Trail. Our next village is also built on a rocky outcrop. Contobre means the brilliant citadel in Celtic. It's the pride of its 15 inhabitants. Locals go to great lengths to look after their old cliffside houses.
There are a few houses in the village which have a fair bit of ivy. We cut it back every 5 years or so. It's beautiful. We live in a pretty country.
The village's oldest resident, Fernand, was born and raised here.
Everyone had their own garden and a little vineyard. Times were hard, but we were happy. We were never rich, though. When Christmas came around, we were pleased to get an orange. It's a great view.
And it's a nice day.
And we used to ring the bells.
We took turns to ring the bells. Each household had the keys for a week. So for a week it was down to us to go and ring the bells every day.
Even today, the ringing of the church bells is still seen as a privilege.
I really enjoy the day before, when I come up and make sure everything's in order. I can't help it. I give the bells a little tender, loving care. You have to look after them to make sure they ring properly, otherwise they're good for nothing. And it also pleases the older residents who remember the days when the bells were rung for marriages, deaths, and for village events. The church was at the heart of village life.
The road ahead takes us further east and deep into the Provence Verte region. Cotignac is a peaceful village nestled at the foot of a spectacular rock. Visitors can wander through the many narrow passageways which date from the Middle Ages. The village itself was built on a river.
The Cassol, which has now been diverted, ran through the middle of the village.
The river, you mean?
Yes, the river. But that was 500 years ago. That's how the rock was formed.
Is it good to be in Cotignac?
Oh, definitely. This is Provence in all its glory.
The rock offers a somewhat dizzying walk. If you climb up, you can snake your way through the narrow passages and into cave houses.
This one dates from 1833. We're in an old house that was dug into the rock with a masonry front.
The rock has long been a cherished playground for the children of Cotignac.
We had lots of adventures, almost like Jules Verne and the journey to the centre of the earth. Ours was to the centre of the rock, but it was still good.
In these pretty communities, residents are more than happy to look after their heritage, one of the keys to the success of France's